Hey, how are you doing? This is Greg Van Kirk, and I'd like to spend a few minutes walking you through the capital mix map. This is for conversations focused on understanding the mix of community assets. Community could be organizational assets, group assets, right? You think as community is simply a group of people, an organization of people together. To note, this is really about taking an asset frame, as always, starting with strengths rather than starting with deficits, figuring out what's already there, what can we leverage, right? And then what isn't there, where can we fill in some gaps potentially. This is a situation analysis tool, obviously at the top. Currently, it is in Toolkit 3 under human-centered and systems mapping. Depending upon your certificate, it may be slightly different. That's fine. The tool is the tool, and the description still serves its purpose. So about this tool, as always, I'm going to walk through this first. Then below that, we have how to use this tool with hyperlink QR code to this video. You'll see here's the tool itself, which I'll walk through in my own words, but it's reflective, obviously, of how to use this tool in line with that. And then we're going to go through engagement role guidance if you're hands-on consulting or innovating. So about this tool. We fail when we take a myopic and or deficit view of the capital that exists in communities. We focus too much on financial capital, money, right? Or we brand communities as being quote unquote poor. Conversely, when we look at the capital in communities holistically and start with an asset frame, we're more likely to be successful at helping community members leverage strengths and overcome weaknesses. This capital mix map tool should help you and your team do this. This tool helps you analyze the following 7 forms of capital. Social, I put that at the top because that is typically the most powerful. These are the networks of relationships among people who live and or work in a particular community, including formal and informal groups that work together towards a specific purpose. Financial, these are the economic resources available or accessible. Human, these are the people who can work on an issue or challenge. Human capital, all the people in a community. Physical, this includes things such as accessible raw materials, facilities, transportation, machinery, energy, supplies, local bodies of water, plants, animals, etc. Right? Any kind of physical capital that exists. At the top right here, knowledge capital. This is oftentimes called intellectual capital. This includes knowledge about ideas, methods, and processes, right? People have knowledge in communities about their communities and about things that, for example, in my case, as an outsider, I would never know. So how do you understand that the richness of that knowledge capital? Cultural. Cultural capital falls into 3 categories. Institutionalized, this is education or specialized knowledge. Embodied, this is personality, speech, and skills. And objectified, clothes or other belongings. So what's the cultural capital, the cultural richness that exists in a community? Really, really important. And experiential. These are the skills and insights people have gained in work and life, right? Oftentimes, if you're working on a project, people have already done similar things in the past. You want to know what experiences have been, what's worked, what hasn't worked, right? So people have all of this lived experience from work, from life, what have you, and you really want to understand that experiential capital. So going to how to use this tool over here, we'll walk through it. As always, if you have the PDF of this here in the field guide, at the top, you have click here or on the tool to access the Google Sheet and make an editable copy. So you can do that, go in, work virtually, hybrid, on your own, in your team, and change it if you'd like to. This is for you. This is a tool as with all of them, it can be adapted for your circumstances. So at the top, we just want to note down who's the community or organization, right? Who are the people that we're analyzing here, the situation, the capital mix that we're analyzing. Then on the left-hand side on the column, you see at the top, we have capital. So these are all the different forms of capital that I just described. Analysis. So we want to start with strengths. So where are the strengths in, for example, social capital or financial capital? You can do this, you're working your way down. You can do this in whatever order you'd like to. We want to start with strengths first, take that perspective. Obviously, this is in conversation with having learned with the community itself, not just from your outside observation, right? You want to have conversations to really understand these things. And then weaknesses. Are there some breakdowns in social capital, for example, or in financial capital, right? This can inform you again on your work on what can you potentially leverage, what can you potentially work with, how can people's strengths and capital contribute to success, and weaknesses, are there areas that can potentially be improved to help create success an analysis to really understand the overall situation, look at this from a 3/6, from a sort of 35,000 feet perspective, but also zooming in on specific forms of capital. And then engagement role guidance, hands-on. So create a capital mix map of either the organization you're working, volunteering, interning with, and or the community the organization is supporting. You could also simply create a capital mix map of the community where you live. Consulting. Use this tool to help the organization team and our project team that you're consulting for focus on creating a capital mix map for themselves, their team, their organization, and or the community that will be supporting that will be supported as a result of your consultancy. I had a typo up there, forgive me. As with all of these tools, this can be one of your final deliverables. And innovating. Create a capital mix map of the community and organization that will benefit from the innovation you're designing. So start off by really understanding the capital mix before you go in and start, obviously, your innovation and design process. So hopefully you find this helpful. This is a tool that I developed years ago because I did see that people focus way too much on financial capital and miss all of these other forms of capital. They're so important. Hopefully this helps you to get a great perspective. As always, if you have any questions or concerns or want any support, don't hesitate to reach out. Apart from that, have a wonderful day and all the best.